Hello. It's Thursday night.
Y'all know what that
And-
means.
Goon Squad.
Yeah. I guess we could all just do the catchphrase. I mean, I wanted to have my own catchphrase. It's Thursday night. What's up, hot dog? Damn it. That's also
Hey,
Whoa.
That's also not
You
something.
can't bite on people's brand like that.
To be fair, that's hot dog's brand.
No, Tyler, Kale was born in like the 1400s or something.
biting
yeah.
on other people's brands is my brand.
Kale was born in the 1400s where they developed hot dogs. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, it started as sausages in early Germany, Germanic tribes, and then over time it made it to America. And Kale being born on America Day, naturally.
Marco,
Natural.
can you tell us when the first sausage was made? Tell us how, not how the sausage was made, but when the sausage was made.
So it was Herbert von Sir sausage, and
He just yes-anded me.
Nice.
Good job.
Love that.
That's good
Yeah.
improv. Yep.
And so what ended up happening was this farmer, right, had
Hold
a
on.
lot of pigs.
Don't need to know how the sausage was made. When was
sorry.
the sausage
When?
made?
When was
Wait,
the
this is
sausage
when
made?
was the
Oh,
sausage
okay.
made? Yeah.
Well, backstory.
Give me a
right?
date.
So,
Give me a year right now.
a year 1437.
You know
Love
what?
it.
I'm going to Google this. You are correct. 1437 was the
Wow.
year of the first sausage.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
You know what? You know why I said 1437?
Made by Marco von Sausage Bjorn.
Huh. Not too far off.
Oh,
Yeah, no, you were pretty close. I mean, you
you sure it's
got the
not
right first name.
Marcius?
Guys, this is the Comics Pals. This is our Thursday show where we don't have Sean to keep us in check. Because Sean is out celebrating his birthday. I don't have a cheer. I have a... I don't have a cheer, but I have that.
That's what he
Trump-
would want.
Yeah, do the
I think
Trump
that's
one.
what he wants. Actually, I think he'd want. I think he'd
There
probably
it
want
is.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
but-
The history of the glizzy.
Yeah, glizzy history. But Sean's not here. He's celebrating his birthday in the
Did,
Eastern Vegas. Is that what
Did
they
you
call
guys
it?
get him anything?
I got him a day off.
You know what? Sometimes it's just as good.
I gave him a nice
I
little
wouldn't
morning Twitter post. So I got him.
All right.
Me and Kel were a little
Sorry?
a little suspicious. Gave him a little
Oh,
morning
you
glizzy.
thought Sean tweeted it out for himself? Don't worry, I'll be doing it for myself on Sunday. Don't worry. So this is the Comics Pals Pulls, where we talk about the big books of the week. And this week, so Sean would show typically his physical copies. He
All
All
We're
digital
plebeian.
episode, baby.
Let's go.
This is the digital boys. So I'll just
Digi
go through the
boys.
slides. I'll go through the slides. So this week we are going to be reading Do a Powerbomb, #1 by Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer. The Jurassic League by also Daniel Warren Johnson, but with one Gideon on art and also Mike Spicer. So we're also reading Captain America: Sentinel of Liberty, #1, and we're going to be finishing it off with X-Men Red, #3. Pretty juicy week in comics, I would say.
So
but before
doing
we get
the
into
reverse of Sean, where he starts with the worst books and goes through to the best.
You know what? I figured Sean's not here. I'm gonna spice things up. I'm gonna Mike Spicer things up
Let's go.
for this episode. But just want to let you know you can follow us so you can help us out by joining our Patreon, patreon.com/comicspals. This week we just put out today actually we put out the new episode of Palin' Around, which is a Patreon exclusive audio video podcast where we just talk about whatever the hell we want, and it's much more organized than Kale and I vamping for 20 minutes for the show. There's a topic. There is.
I thought our vamping was actually quite organized.
It was very relaxed. It felt like
Yeah.
I felt like I was sitting at a McDonald's at 7:00 in the morning with the old people there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what better? You got your plate of biscuits and gravy in front of you.
I don't think
What-
what McDonald's does biscuits and gravy. Hold on.
Hotcakes,
Oh.
hotcakes.
My granddad used to go to a place called Brahms, and they always have biscuits and gravy.
Johann von Braun, the inventor of biscuits and gravy.
Yeah. Yep, that's him.
My granddad.
Yeah, so we actually, speaking of which, we talked about food on Palin Around this week. So the hunger continues.
Yeah. Can you guys remember anything we can tease?
We discussed
Wait,
our favorite
quick.
fast food restaurants.
What's your favorite hot dog related food?
Ooh,
Hot dog
wait.
related? Or can we just say hot dog topping?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If it's
I
a
mean,
hot
it's
dog, say
mustard.
what kind of
It's
hot dog.
It's mustard. I like. So my the best hot dog I've ever eaten is a Gray's papaya hot dog with mustard, onions, and sauerkraut. Like it's
Yeah,
just
I can't get into those papaya dogs. I
oh,
tried.
so good. They're so good, and they're quick too. And I bumped into Regis Philbin at one of them. Yo, I watched
Okay.
Regis suck on a glizzy. He slurped that boy down. It was erotic. R.I.P. Regis Philbin. Is he dead?
No, he's
but
just
he
canceled.
He is barely alive.
Is he? I thought he was dead. Whoops. Well, I mean, I'll just cut this out and put it out when he does die. Guys, I'm
Mine,
pretty sure he-
chili cheese dog.
Ooh, okay.
Is it? That's fair. That's fair.
I was introduced via my ex. It's a Colombian hot dog, which has.
If you're actually introduced you to some Colombian hot dog, hey.
That's right. Yes. Hey,
what's
yo, what's up? It is
Finish it.
pineapple, a mayo, like a pink sauce, garlic mayo, and then crushed chips, like Lay's chips on top.
In like a
it's-
hot dog bun?
It
On a hot
screams
dog, yeah.
Colombian to me.
What?
Yeah. You know what? Fucking delicious. It's called a Hawaiian.
Nothing. I
Hawaiian
once
dog.
had a hot dog with popcorn and chocolate and peanut butter sauce on top of it.
And if you want more of this, go listen to the.
Yeah,
Food Pals.
we didn't talk about hot dogs on that show, but listen to the Foodie Pals, Food Pals. I think it's called the Food
We should
Pals.
talk about the food friends.
The food friends. Regis Philbin is dead. I looked it up. He died in 2020. Bless up, Regis.
Okay.
Yes, we can't put
He
this
died in a bit of a busy year for stuff. So
Yeah.
that kind of got. I think we need. That's why I'm glad I talked about Regis Philbin. Give him the RIP credit he was due. You know, July 2020, we were a little busy with some stuff. But yeah, follow us on Patreon. Should be good. Should be a good show. And Sean had another newsletter this week. So if you subscribe at the $3 tier, you can read the newsletters. Which my newsletter last week triggered a lot of people's OCD and anxiety. So maybe read that one or not. Nobody subscribe. Who knows?
Yeah, y'all should just do what I do and don't read them.
Kale doesn't even read his own. I don't know how it happens.
somehow
I
comes
make
together.
it and throw it out the door.
A true writer. All right, let's talk about Do a Powerbomb numero uno. So this is the new Image Comics #1 by I think superstar is a funny word to use here. Superstar artist Daniel Warren Johnson. That's a wrestling term, guys. Man, Sean not being here for the wrestling book is going to be a bit of an interesting one.
Well, I'm aware of what a superstar is.
Yeah, it's like a WWE superstar. You know, that's what they call themselves. They're not wrestlers; they're superstars. But yeah, superstar artist Daniel Warren Johnson with his good buddy Mike Spicer on colors. This has been a long time coming. I believe it. I don't know if you guys read the back matter on this book.
Yeah.
I love a good #1 back matter. You know,
Yeah.
that explains why this book exists, especially for independent books like this. But it explains how he got into comics right around the birth of his daughter because her sleep schedule was real. He got into wrestling right around the birth of his daughter because the baby's sleep schedule was so irregular. So he'd be up in the middle of the night. And he got into New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is funny because that's when it would be on because of the time difference. So if he's going to be watching those pay-per-views, it is, I'd wake up at like 7 o'clock in the morning to watch the main event, so stuff like that.
Wow.
So,
Wild.
and if you follow him on any kind of social media, Instagram, he's been drawing wrestlers for, since then. He draws a really great Naito. he comes out with a WrestleTober. His Inktober, at least for the past 2 years, has been WrestleTober, where he
Really?
has just drawn wrestlers. And I've gotten the little sketchbooks. I have it somewhere in my bookshelf, but they're great. You know, he just draws like some of my favorites, like Okada or Rey Fenix. Dude's got good taste too, but there's like a kineticism to just a still sketch that's now translated into a full-fledged ongoing comic or mini. Yeah, it's 1 of 7. But what do you guys think about this one?
Danny Warren Johnson hits, and when he hits, he fucking hits it out of the park. This was incredible. Frankly, there was definitely a moment where the page turn got me, and I just mouth agape. And,
Yeah.
The way he carries momentum, not only in the actual images that he draws, but in the narrative. He's pushing you towards something, and for you to feel something, and then he just fucking rips it away. And it reminded me of Beta Ray Bill, that first issue. Very similar, had those emotional beats of just introduction, context, and then what is the conflict. And in that, it was, he didn't feel like he could be loved. In this one, it's tragedy, and that was a great setup for. I didn't realize this series was gonna follow the daughter. And so when you first see, I guess full spoilers, but when we see the mother die, that shit tore me up, and I'm like, wait, are we following the dad after this? Like, what's going on? And the way it brings it back to the daughter full circle is just amazing. I absolutely love this.
Yeah, this ruled. Man, just the we probably don't have to talk about it too much, but just the way that Johnson, like, he drops the little hints, he builds what, the big tragedy. Like, you see this dude's leg shake a little, and then it slips off the rope. Man, come on. Yeah, like Marco, I went, oh no,
dude, it was so good. Tragic, but incredible.
Yeah. Please.
I was gonna say, Danny Warren Johnson has a way of hitting emotional beats in the most simplistic manner. Like, he just finds, like, it was like Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill felt a little outcast, and there was like a body image issue going on, but it was straightforward and relatable. This one is literally just the relationship between a mother and daughter, and that's told in 4 pages or 4 or 5 pages, and then you're suckered in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so effortless, where I feel like anyone else trying to tap into that, like, emotional beat can just feel almost ham-fisted at times, if that makes sense. Where, like, even, like, I don't know if you guys read Murder Falcon at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, super straightforward, no frills. Like, this guy lost his wife to cancer, and it's how does he deal with that? Or I don't want to spoil the book, but things happen, and it's a guy kind of coming to terms with loss. Really, I think that's a better way of describing it. And, like, that's what this book is. And I think the idea of loss is a theme throughout Danny Warren Johnson's work. It's loss and coming to grips with that, accepting that, and kind of thriving from it. What loss can give you. Like, I can see that in Beta Ray Bill, or even in I have it over Extremity, another one of his, probably his first big one. Ooh, that's a good sci-fi one, Marco.
Yeah, I have it. I just haven't opened it.
Yeah, it's a good one. And at the same time, this also is a book where somebody does a Falcon Arrow, like, and somehow yeah, like they do. Never gets the pinfall, though. That's the thing. That's the thing about the Falcon Arrow. Nobody ever actually wins with that move, even though it's pretty cool looking. But, like, the idea of a wrestling book is tricky. WWE's had a comic book before. Rather than focusing on the actual in-ring stuff, he really focused on the fantastic outside of the ring stuff, behind the scenes, there would be, it's more of the drama part of it rather than the actual action. But this book does not shy on the actual wrestling, which on paper you think would be hard because wrestling is its movement, its speed. How do you convey that on paper? And Danny Warren Johnson does it.
You have the skill of Daniel Warren Johnson. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
He knows the exact right points for a move. There's a couple moves in here that are pretty iconic, I guess. But he knows the exact points of certain transitions in a move to pinpoint that, draw that, and then within 3 of those images, you can see what the entire move is.
Because you have to capture, like, as much as you have to capture movement, you have to capture the movement at the peak of what it is, right?
Yep.
At the top of an arc, or at the top, in one of the cases, at the top of the ropes, right? You have to capture the moments where, like, even though I didn't recognize the moves, I could tell, okay, this is this, and the subsequent panel will show, like, the conclusion of what that action is.
Yeah, you can imagine the follow through.
Yes, exactly. That's hard to do, incredibly hard to do. I think he does this masterfully.
Yeah, like I don't know of anyone in comics able to do that currently, as well as this. The twist I think is a good little twist too, because even in the promotional art, I'm like, oh, okay, this is our main character. It's not.
Yeah.
Which I guess the main A cover kind of spoils it for you, but then it sort of having, I guess the secondary twist is the fact that it is Mortal Kombat. Like, is that what it seems?
Yeah, that's what it seems.
Yeah. So when I talked to Daniel Warren Johnson, probably 2, maybe 3 years ago at this point, he mentioned this book as an idea. He's like, "Oh yeah, I want to do Mortal Kombat with different types of wrestlers. I want to do
Hell
luchador.
yeah.
I want to do
Fuck yeah.
the kind of house wrestler." And like, I'm super excited to see what he comes up with. Like,
Yeah.
I want to come up with like a nice southern big chubby dude who just does massive clothesline Stan Hansen style, like, or more luchadors, or give me like, I don't know, like a Hardy Boys gimmick to show in this, like iconic stuff like that. Because there's a lot of stuff you can play with in the realm of wrestling.
Yeah.
I like the way he very, like, gently teases the that sort of darker fantasy element. Like, when we first come into it, right, we're watching a TV, but it wasn't until I, like, went back to reread the issue that I'm like, oh, wait a minute, there's skulls there. Like, I didn't notice the things around it, and it's like, oh, he's established something there. Then he has a hint later on where it's just the smiling face of this figure who is still watching the TV, and you don't know how those things quite yet connect until it culminates at the end. And I think the way he layers that out is again just rife for it.
Yeah, I love this. Like, I think this is easily my pick of the week.
1,000%.
Yeah.
I could have told you this was my pick of the week 3 weeks ago before even reading it, but it's just like Tyler made for me.
Hey, there you
I
go.
thought it was great.
This was announced, and this was my pick of the week.
Yeah, it was my future pick of the week. But yeah, I would recommend this. So one of the thing I would say is, because wrestling is not everyone's bag. Not everyone is really into it. Some people view it as an inferior thing. Some people view it as
It's low art.
low art.
It's like comics.
But I would say that even in the back matter, DWJ mentions, like, this book is his effort to get people into wrestling. He mentions, like, this is going to be his love letter, and I hope that you can then love what I love through this.
and he does a
which-
pretty good job.
Yeah, man, I think.
I think one of the things I'm glad for is, like, through osmosis, I sort of understand some of the larger mechanics, like kayfabe, and I understand, you know, you have a heel and you have your heel, your protagonist here, and whenever you guys mention that you bring in the real, like the real characters, but you play that into the storyline, like when she mentions, and again, I love his beats, when he mentions when Yua is talking about, you know, when she wanted the belt and she just wanted the fame and the glory, and all of a sudden there's this empty panel with silence, and then but then I became a mother, and you're like, oh, this is the emotional beat. And then fucking Cobra-san comes in and it's like, you're a piece of shit, like you're fake to all these fans, like stop lying. I'm like, oh, I get it, and I understand how you can play that up because it's real. She has a daughter and she would care for that, and she could learn something from that. And for this guy to shit on that, I'm like, I get it. Fuck you, Cobra-san. And then realizing that that's his role, is to be hated and to be somebody that you're just like, well, I love to hate this guy.
Yeah, sometimes in wrestling, the best way to get heat is the low hanging fruit. You know, interrupt her while she's talking about her family. Easy. And just like little intricacies like that is what DWJ is really getting in this, which I enjoy. But yeah, we also read another Daniel Warren Johnson book, Jurassic League #2. This is DC Comics 2 of 6 miniseries. We read the first issue a month back at this point. This is written by Daniel Warren Johnson with art by Juan Gideon and colors by Mike Spicer. I think we were all pretty hot on it in the first issue.
No.
No?
We were not.
I don't think I was on that first one.
Okay, well, I'm curious to see what you think.
This felt like Saturday morning cartoons and anime. This to me was a fucking anime. It's just like hearing, what is it? I forgot the bat name, but like
Batsar.
How could you forget Batsar?
Batsar. Like
take a guess at Superman's name.
Super Sore.
Oh man.
But like I could hear the voice in my head, right? I could hear it. It sounded like a Raditz or something, or like what one would imagine Freeze as well. You can hear the sort of over dramatic tone, and you could hear at least for me, like the over the top nature of what this is. And Johnson knows what he's doing here. He knows this is dumb. This is goofy to another level, and I think for that it works pretty well.
Yeah, this book is stupid, and I mean that lovingly.
Absolutely,
it's fucking dumb, and it knows it's fucking dumb. It's not
That's the best
trying to
part.
be anything besides that, you know. Like it's Batsar and Super Sor and Wonder Dawn, versus other. Although Atrocitor. I don't know.
That one was
Whatever
that
it
one
is.
was hard.
That's a hard one to say.
Brontozaro.
Yeah, but you're right. You say Saturday morning cartoon show, I think of like, oh, this is me playing with my toys when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just coming up with these stupid ideas in my head. Yeah, the toy was just a dinosaur, but no, in my head it was Batman. And it's that on paper. This is not reinventing the wheel. It is nothing revelatory of the medium, you know. And it's not really hitting any emotional beats like, you know, Do A Powerbomb did. This is just a guy playing with toys. And I appreciate it for what that is, because sometimes, like, in my stack, that book's a palate cleanser, you know? It's not, you know, like what did I have on here? Like, we'll talk about Cap coming up, but, like, that's a little heavier at points. This is lighthearted and stupid, and goddamn, that Juan Gideon art is good.
Very good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously you can't deny that. Just for me, there's very little here. We said last time that this should be a very me book, and what am I doing here?
We'll have to read DC Mex for that, I guess.
I doubt it. Maybe. It's just, man, it's too little. Is I think my thing. Like, whereas Powerbomb, it's like same with like Murder Falcon is Johnson is a good writer, right? He can take this very simple thing and give it complex emotions through a relatively easy story. And I don't mean any of that pejoratively. But with this, it's just like, let's just take an episode of Super Friends and make it dinosaurs. And I'm just like, is that it?
It almost feels like the title came first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like, I wonder if, whatchamacallit? No, wait. Jurassic isn't WB, right? It's like Jurassic Park stuff. Never mind. I was going to be like, oh, I wonder if there's some kind of synergy going on there, because what movie just came out? But I guess expecting synergy at WB Discovery at this point is probably a shot in the dark. But I agree. There's really nothing here in terms of substance. Even like the conflict, it's like, all right, let's just see them fight. It's that line of that Godzilla versus Kong or whatever. Or actually, it was just Godzilla. I was like, let them fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of okay with that, personally.
I don't mind it. I think it works for what it is. It very much is just dumb fun, and I think sometimes that's okay for this. For this book, that's okay for the concept. It's okay. It's a mini. We're not gonna get much more of this. I think he's just gonna tell his condensed story, and we're good, in and out.
The colors in this book are incredible because they don't even feel like regular. Is it Spicer on these colors as well?
It is Spicer, yep.
And because it doesn't even feel like the other Spicer we've seen on Daniel or Johnson. It's brighter. It's more saturated, maybe. I don't know. I'm not an artist.
I see what you mean, though.
Yeah.
But it's all vibrant, like very, very vibrant.
I think Marco's, talk of it being a Saturday morning cartoon show works in that regard. It's tons of primary colors, bright, vibrant primary colors, and we get to the secondary colors and we see the bad guys, like typical superhero good v bad color theory. That just works well, although the little gross body horror of that giant embryo with the intestines you can feed yourself.
Yeah.
That's a little gross. I kind of like that because it's a little Cronenbergian, but
I'll give you that. I'm into that.
Gideon's facial work, even for dinosaurs, is great. I'm gonna pull a Marco and try to show this off. But like this, look a bat sore right there.
That's great.
Like it's just a great little panel. That's this is throughout the book. There's a point where Giganta, Bizarre Sore. God, I don't even know how to pronounce the bizarre names. The names are a little tricky. But he gets punched in the gut, and he has like this real sort of cartoony, almost like Gorillaz, is the way I'm seeing it, like the band Gorillaz, with like that kind of art style, where it's super animated, especially in the face. I don't know if I'd recommend the book. Like, I'd recommend the book if it was like, if I know you just want something stupid. Like, if you're looking for, something groundbreaking, this isn't it. But it's fun.
This I think I'd recommend this to somebody who's into comics already, because I don't know that this is something to introduce. Like, this is not a my first comic. As much as it is, dumb fun, I think you have to have a different appreciation of the medium to be able to try to understand what's going on here.
I think I disagree. I think you could hand this to a kid easy and they would love it.
Okay. The basic tropes are there: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Yeah, that's all there. But like, I think Marco's right. Where like, I would almost recommend this to a jaded comic book fan first. It's like, hey, they're not all like that. You can try something else.
Kale.
No, I don't like it. This is a hard pass for me.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong then. Maybe I'm wrong.
Give this to an 8-year-old and they'll have a blast. But
so this is a pass for you, Cal.
Yeah, wasn't into the first one. Not into this one.
Okay.
I
I found
misremembered
it
that.
boring. For me, it's not boring. That's too harsh. Like, the art is absolutely incredible, and it's kinetic, and you feel things when they happen, and the emotions and everything are there. The beats are there. It's too um a cardboard cutout for
Hmm.
me.
Okay. You
Like,
need more from it.
there is no depth.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd pull it. I enjoy it.
Yeah. I'd pull it for what it is, and yeah, I think if you're looking for more, this isn't necessarily the book. So would caveat that pull with, if you want a little bit more of that depth, if you want the Daniel Warren Johnson of Do a Powerbomb, this isn't it.
Yeah, I'd almost say like I can pull this book alone, even if you took out all of the word balloons. It was just art. Like I think like the Juan Gedeon art is like the star of the show for me.
Okay.
Mostly because there really isn't much of a story. It's bad guys fighting good guys. Like you can get that without words.
Sure.
And then half of the characters can't even understand each other. So like the words aren't even really necessary. In fact, I would actually kind of like to see or read an issue of this without word balloons, just so I can take in all of the art everywhere. But yeah, that's it. But we also read the second Captain America #1 in the last month. Captain America Sentinel of Liberty #1. Let me get the creative team because it's a little bigger. This is by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly as writers. Artist Carmen Cornero. Letterer Joe Caramagna. Color art by Nolan Woodard. Yep. So this is the second #1 in the new, I guess, 2 Caps books. We read previously Symbol of Truth, which was the Sam Wilson Captain America, and this is Steve Rogers #1. So I'll say right off the bat, I kind of really like this. I think there are some things here that I haven't seen in Captain America in a while. Specifically, that Cap really gets back to his roots on the Lower East Side, quite literally. He moves into his childhood apartment that is
Yeah.
a rat-infested shithole. But I like Steve, I think, the most when he's just like a man of the people. And that's what this book is trying to be. He's not going to Dimension Z. He's not fighting outer space. He's not the Avenger. He's Steve, who happens to also have the shield. And I think that's when he's most likable.
Yeah, for me, this was Captain America when I started reading Captain America, when he was just kind of doing stuff around the city and waxing poetic about people and America and what it means to be Captain America.
When you read Captain America, do you remember what runs you?
It was well before Brubaker. It would have been, I know it would have been right around Amazing Spider-Man 500. Jay Lee was on it, and that's where I really solidified my hate for Jay Lee.
Oh, what?
Jay Lee
Oh,
was
that's
on
right.
Captain America or Spider-Man?
Captain America.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that.
I don't know. He had a.
Yeah, couldn't tell you. I still have the books, but I don't.
It's like a
I haven't
2000
looked at
with
them in a long time.
Chuck Austin
Could be. Yeah, could be.
or
I guess at that point you
John
weren't really
Riber?
focused on the the writers
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, this was okay. Again, we sort of said something similar, I think, about I can't remember if it was the Zero issue or the Falcon Cap #1, but it feels, I don't know, this doesn't feel like a #1 to me.
What do you mean?
Well, no, I take that back, because it is setting up a status quo, and it's doing, it's talking about it. It's showing who Steve is now and who he's trying to be. It's showing his life, and then we get into the costume antics.
I appreciated that because it felt a bit more organic. I've not read any Captain America run beyond what we've read for either a book club or actually no, yeah, for a book club or stuff that we've read for Possibles. But like this was, I think by to what you guys are saying, by having him start off as just a normal person, that intrigued me more because I'd rather learn about the man behind the shield than sort of who he is with it. I appreciated it for that because it just grounded him a bit more. It grounded him to. It gave me a reason to want to care for the character beyond just what he's become. And for me, he's become a brand. This felt a bit more of just, all right, we're trying to show you that he's a human and he is a person that you want to follow because he is good. He sets the example. The antithesis of America, I guess. But this was good. This was if Do a Powerbomb was not on this week's polls, this would have been my poll, the book of the week.
Well, one of the things this book did well was like it gives Cap like a creative, like not a creative, an extended side characters. The word's escaping me. There's an extended cast, I guess. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Of just normal people. Sure, Bucky Winter Soldier's in this. And yes, they kept his cats. That is a development in the past, like 3 or 4 years where Bucky's just like a cat dude. But he just has friends who are like, he's trying to get back into art again, which is like a thing that's always been in Steve's backstory. He's an artist. That was his first thing.
Old. Yeah. Did you know he used to draw for Captain America comics?
No.
Yeah.
Get out. That's so cool.
But it's like a good kind of a Marvel fun fact that I don't feel enough writers bring up, because nobody really touches Cap's everyday stuff. And there are multiple pages where he's at like a baseball game wearing a Brooklyn Dodgers jersey, which I thought was a great little touch.
That was so
weird.
funny.
Yeah, instead of like a Yankees thing. And it turns out he's a Mets fan instead of a Yankees fan, which...
Oh, Brooklyn Dodgers, of course.
Yes,
I was
exactly.
saying LA Dodgers. Why would you be wearing an LA Dodgers?
And it was a little darker. It wasn't like a pure white. It was like a kind of like old school jersey kind of thing. Oh, man, I would love a Brooklyn Dodgers jersey. That's something I got to look into. But there's that. He's doing art. He has his friends that he's like in a ham radio club, which is such like an old person thing to do. But these are like his old friends. And they have names, and like they're helping him decipher things. He's got like the man in the chair now, which is just a whole bunch of people who like doing crosswords. Like it's this cast of just normal people that I haven't seen before. The cast is always like, oh, it's Sharon Carter. She's off the board. We don't have to deal with that. We don't have to deal with Peggy Carter. We don't have to deal with any of the Carters. Sam's off the board in this way too. It's really just Bucky, almost I feel like out of necessity, just to make sure there's more than one superhero on it.
And I think Bucky is there also to, in that scene where he shoots the guy, the terror or whatever. It gives us a chance to see that Cap will even stop Bucky. He'll even step in when his friends are wrong.
Yeah.
And I think Bucky's a good foil here too.
Yeah.
Where I feel like Bucky's become Cap. Bucky has kind of just been diet Captain America, even when he's not Captain America. He's just Cap with a gun. And this is showing the real differences between Bucky and Cap, especially because Cap was on ice the whole time. He's got to kind of keep who he was. Bucky hasn't. He's been morphed to something else.
Yep.
And his story is not trying to keep who he was. It's trying to reclaim who he was. It's his arc always. Because that was taken from him. So, and I think I can see maybe like we're getting more Bucky going on. He's kind of doing his own investigation on the side here. With the Destroyer, which is like an old World War II Mystic Comics character that is now being reimagined for this. I thought it was a lot of fun. The Carbon Carnera art is just clean. Like that opening double page spread where the panels are the different stars, the different stripes in the shield.
Yeah.
and you get all the different eras of Cap, was just tasty. I love it. The good thing where it shows off the Rogues Gallery in a little collage.
Yeah, yeah. It felt very his style feels very Stuart Eminem mixed with Brett Booth,
That is
especially
a
in
combination. Yeah.
the especially in the actual Cap scenes versus the Steve scenes.
Yeah, I could see like her art's a little scratchy, but clean at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's especially in the costume for me and the way like the
Mm.
mask sort of forms his mouth.
Yeah, I mean, so Marco, even as like a Cap noob, I guess in a way, you were down with this, huh?
I liked it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
This, I think, if this was my introduction to Cap, I mean, I mentioned it in the Twitch chat right now, but like, I'm gonna keep up with this one. This one was genuinely really well done. I think the art did a lot for me for that reason, but also just the to what you said, Kale. Like he's just waxing poetic a bit here, and I really enjoyed those moments because it's a bit of that depth that you talked about, right? And I think this had a little bit more of that than and I read this I read the books on Your Powerbomb, Jurassic League actually, and then this one, and I ended with X-Men Red. So I think that palate cleanser and then this coming right after was very
Yeah.
yeah, it did a lot for me.
I recommend it. This is an easy pull for me. It's number one. It's good looking. It's Captain America. You see him get a little awkward having to draw a nude model. You
was
gotta
cute.
love awkward Steve. It's just adorable.
It's endearing.
Yeah.
Absolute pull. Yeah.
For me, I think it's fine. I think I would wait out a trade to see if it's going to do anything unique. To me, it feels like I said, like stuff I've read before. There's not it doesn't feel like a whole lot of anything new yet. So I think I'd trade weight it.
It's fair.
For me, it's like this hasn't been something I read before because I started with Brubaker stuff.
Yeah.
So since then, it's been espionage or sci-fi. Like
Right.
those are your two
Right.
flavors. So a little more ground
Yeah,
level Steve is something I'd been.
It's
nosing
a
for.
great number one. Like if you're looking to get into Captain America, I would 1,000% recommend this versus Hail Hydra or whatever the fuck.
That was him in the claws, right on the right hand side. That was the Supreme Hydra Cap, I believe, who still exists out there.
yeah,
He's still
no.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, great place to start with Cap. So like I would definitely recommend it. But for me it's fine.
Okay. So we're gonna finish off with another Marvel book. This being X-Men Red #3. This is by Al Ewing, Stefano Caselli, and I want to say I always forget the first name. Hold on, I'm bringing it up. It is Federico Blee. Oh, and photo bunkers Fernando Cifuentes on colors.
Photo what?
Photo, what was it? Proto Bunker. I guess it's a coloring studio or like an art studio where they, like VC has like Joe Caramagna for letters and stuff. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's always hard to find the X-Men credits pages because it's part of like that. Thank you. We got a new follow from Yasaya. Is that like Yasaya? Or just
Yeah.
We lost a follower.
Well, easy come, easy go.
That's how it happens.
So have we reviewed all 3 of the issues so far? On this?
I definitely didn't do number 2.
Okay.
So
You should go to your doctor
I don't know if we did
for
as
that
a
then.
Yosaya.
Okay. Hey, Yesai. Thanks for following us. So you didn't do number 2. You should have some laxative. But I think number 2 was the first. I don't know if Stefano Caselli started off with number 1. If I don't remember.
He's been on the book since the beginning, no?
Yeah, I think so.
It could be. I gotta say, I was getting kind of Game of Thrones vibes from this one, which is probably a cliche thing to say at this point. But as soon as we got to the battle scene, like shit started happening. Shit was going down. And it moved at a very fast clip that I was like, oh, okay. I'm kind of into this. I thought this was a lot of fun, personally.
This one was a slog.
Really? Okay.
For whatever reason, I just did not. I don't know. I couldn't get into it. It wasn't until the action sort of came in that what they were talking about started to play out. Mm-hmm. But I felt like a lot of the preamble before was just empty. Like it was just people, it was just talking heads, and I don't think that it was done as well as other X-Men books have done it. To get to sort of the big moment, and once we were there, similar to you, right, the pace picked up. I just kind of like woke up again, but before that, I was just kind of like, oof, okay, we get it. You're talking about how is this going to affect, potentially affect your position in the what is it? I forget what the Rocco's equivalent of the Quiet Council is. But these like power plays that they were trying to talk about, I think wasn't as entertaining as I thought they'd be.
I'm very tired of these characters who think they know everything and they want you to know that they know everything. I know that's a very modern comics thing, and I'm just so fucking tired of these smug ass characters.
I can name at least 4 of them in this issue alone.
Yeah. The worst being, I felt it the worst from Abigail Brand.
Yeah.
And that said, that is her brand. But it just, man, I'm so sick of it. Just drives me up the wall now. It's not fun.
Really, I kind of had fun with that aspect of it. I mean, that's just my taste.
I mean, okay, but it's been like 20 years. Like, can we not have a character that doesn't know something?
I guess.
Someone that's a little ignorant.
I think, strangely enough, that's Storm in this book.
And you know what? Actually, that feels right. And sorry, that feels like it is, but that doesn't feel right for her, because she I feel like is much more of a character that has control over a lot of situations and typically does. But in this case, she's playing second fiddle to Magneto here, when I thought this book would have been more so about her and her kind of doing power plays.
I hope it's building to that. I hope that what this book is, it's building to like everyone around Storm is like, oh, I know what Arakko needs, like he's got to do these things, and then Storm being like, eventually be like, no, I'm the one, because they keep alluding to that. They're like, I think it was Brand who said, Arakko needs royalty.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to try and get Vulcan on the seat. Magneto's always the guy who is like, that helmet must be super heavy because it's always weighing on him, having to wear that crown.
Yeah. I think it sort of feels like Storm will come out a bit like Simba. At the end of The Lion King, she'll she'll make her move and she'll be the rightful, ruler or whatever, however she wants to rule. Which is kind of how it's already been set up, but it feels like there's no like respect or whatever being paid towards Storm.
Yeah, like the respect that she's deserving of, that especially in the position that she's in for the series.
Yeah.
She's an equivalent to royalty here, but I don't feel that energy. She's not giving off that queen energy, bro.
Well, she doesn't want it. That's the thing too. Like, she doesn't want to do that. She's expressly not doing that.
But that's fine, and I think that's a good conflict to have in the story, is I don't want it, but I do wear the crown, and I don't feel like she even wears the crown to be able to say I don't want it.
Fair. Yeah. I think for me, the highlight of this book was Sunspot. I love Sunspot so much.
He's
and
another one. Another smug asshole.
Yeah, I mean, but he's always been smug, and like that's kind of what I like about him. But his whole thing, where like he just essentially he wins by double dog daring somebody who can't lose.
That was funny, and it
which I thought was great.
It took me a second to figure that out.
Yeah, because I had to be like, wait, I guess that's right. If you tell her,
Yeah,
I bet you and insult you.
if he bets on the loss, then she has to side where he wants her. Then, oh yeah, and I had to do a lot of mental math there.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good use of her power set because her power set was dumb before. It's like, oh, this obtuse thing she can't lose.
Well,
let's play with it.
It's an interesting way to show it because it'd be impossible to show.
Yep.
They did that in the first issue too, where she abstains because whatever her vote would be the winning vote. I think they've been using her power set pretty effectively to showcase how powerful it is. It's like when you don't show the monster, right? Like you only show glimpses of it, or you don't straight up allude to it, because then it weakens it, or it sort of dilutes what the shock value or the value therein is.
Yeah.
And if we were to see her just be like, oh yeah, you win and you win, right, then that's boring. It doesn't feel all that unique. This is much more where she has to be smart about her powers, because if not, they could be misused. And this was a good example of a moment where she slips.
And also in X-Men, 99% of the X-Men powers are visual. Hers isn't. How do you play on that in a comic book, in a visual medium?
Yeah, exactly.
Which, at first glance, I thought they kind of wrote themselves into a corner with her. I'm like, oh, it's just going to be the same old shit. But, like, this is a good play on it. And she loses her cool. She flips out. So much so she snaps Sunspot's neck. Which, again, playing on the whole, like, mutants can't die thing. Let's just lean into it at this point. They kill off 2 more mutants in this. I like how there's that other subsect of X-Men with Thunderbird, Cable, and Aiden Facey? I forget his X-Men name.
Oh, so it's with an M.
The guy who does the portals, the Australian guy with the portals, they're kind of doing their own thing on the side there, which I thought was great.
Manifold,
yeah. I love when Hope and Cable are on the page together. That dynamic never gets old for me.
I don't get it.
He's her adopted dad, essentially. And he raised her to be a soldier. And then she came back to present day and realized, I don't really have to be that anymore. The
quick version is after House of M, there was a point where no other mutants were ever going to be born.
No more
mutants. But then Hope was born. And so to protect her, Cyclops sent her to the future with Cable, where she was raised as Cable's daughter for,
Okay, I'm remembering this because issue 2 was from her point of view, right? Where
of Legion of X, yeah.
Oh, that's what it was. Never mind. Okay,
Yep.
Legion of X. Yeah. Okay.
One other thing, speaking of Legion, very specifically, Vulcan, and I don't know if this is a recent Summers thing, but Vulcan feels very much like what it feels like they're talking about him the way people used to talk about Legion. He's just on the edge. He's creating all these people, and he's talking to himself, and he could destroy us all in a second. He's so powerful.
I would say he's been like that since War of Kings, and that's why they took him off the board completely.
Okay.
War of Kings, he was like a universe-ending threat, or Black Bolt and Humans and the Shi'ar and the Guardians, and everyone had to kind of come in and stop him. How do you introduce him to the X-Men when he's so strong? You make him crazy and he can't use all his powers correctly. I think that's the only real way of doing it. And then he's also a ticking time bomb. Dude's fucked up. He's real messed up.
Yeah, aren't they all?
they just came out with a Vulcan Marvel Legends action figure in the same costume he's wearing right now. They had like a whole new build for him. Oh, it's a good looking. It's good looking.
Yo, can we talk about the Magneto just coming in to kick ass?
Yo, and the way he kicks ass, come on.
That was fucking cool.
I didn't care for him crying. That felt a little much for me.
Yeah.
I can see it. He's been through a lot of shit. He feels a lot. He
He's in
has feelings,
retirement.
Tyler. Okay, he's been through a lot. All right,
It's fair. It's fair.
my boy Magneto.
I'm having fun with this. I like Al Ewing's art. I like how Al Ewing does space shit. Because that's pretty much all he does right now. But yeah, I'm digging this. I think out of the new X-Men books, you got Legion, you got Knights, you got the cop one. Mortal. I think this might be my favorite one right now. It also helps that it has a lot of characters in it that I like. So
You know what? I think you might be right.
Yeah.
the Caselli art too is just like consistent.
Yeah.
That was good. That was
Yeah.
good. Yeah, there's like nothing wrong here. I think
Yeah.
in the use of panels, the beats, it's good.
Yeah. I think you might be right. This might be the best one.
Because Legion is fucking weird. Immortal, I feel like stuff isn't yet building up to anything.
Yeah.
This one, at the very least, we have like moving
Movement.
pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Especially this issue. So I would say pull it. Especially if you read the two previous issues, I would pull this.
Yeah.
I guess.
So those are the books we read this week, but those aren't the only books we read this week. Because we have a little thing here called Comics Tag, where one of us gets tagged with a comic, has to read said comic, talk about said comic, and then tag somebody else with a new comic for next week. So I tagged Marco with reading Savage Dragon number 262 by Eric Larson. The return of Savage Dragon to the monthly comic space, which I also read. It's a new arc, Scorched Earth, which
Oh, did
I guess
you?
it's. I read it too. Yep.
Okay.
What you think? We're in current day Savage Dragon, Marco. Throwing you right in.
It was funny because typically they don't. I feel like comics won't mention the outside world all that often, and so was this page 2, 3? It's just like, oh, COVID, oh yeah, this person did or didn't get vaxxed, and people are wearing masks, and it felt oddly just a presence of mind, and I did not expect that. That threw me off. But then once I got into it, I had fun. It was goofy. I think the art, while I can appreciate it, it's good. It's not a style that I necessarily crave. There's a lot of jagged lines. Things are. It feels very sometimes 90s Vertigo with like these thick inks. And I mean, I'm gonna keep reading this.
Okay.
I think just because it's different enough to what I've read in the past, where as much as it is about superheroes, I think this is a bit different in that people die, and that's that for.
Kale, there's a character who, because she's a superhuman, thought she didn't need to get vaccinated and dies of COVID in this issue.
Just like out the gate, I'm like, well, fuck,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, this was good. This was fun. Definitely gonna read it. At least for the next few issues. See where it goes. See if I really stick to it. But it's fun otherwise.
What I'm learning I like about Savage Dragon is that it's this weird combination of a superhero comic and also almost somebody's personal journal. I think Eric Larson really kind of copes through this book. Copes through his everyday life through this book, strangely. And even talks about it. He had like a writer's block in the back matter here. It seems to be that's why this book was delayed for so long. And it's him like literally coming to terms with COVID still, coming to terms with people who aren't vaccinated. Meanwhile, also being a book where some guy gets dragon blood on them and explodes like a little pimple. Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
still superhero shit going on. And it's this weird combination of the two that is, I can see why people like it. I think personally, I would like more modern day Savage Dragon as opposed to the 90s original Savage Dragon, which I think was more typically just superhero shit. Now it's a little more nuanced, even though there was some horny shit going on where like Eric Larson was obviously just bricked up 24/7. Maybe like 3 or 4 volumes ago. But yeah, I like this, and it's this weird combination where it's like the middle ground of indie and big two. Like it feels like that, because it homage. I mean, Eric Larson was an artist at Marvel way back when. There are some great Spider-Man issues that I've read of his. So it's that style mixed with just a human coping with that through this lens somehow, and I'm starting to find it endearing. Which, god damn it, Matt, he's gonna be happy that I said that. But
any recommendation that Matt puts forward, I will consider heavily.
Okay, that's fine.
I go like, okay, he's putting this out. Like, he put up a picture a few days ago on Twitter of just like manga that he wanted to pick up that he didn't get a chance to, but he's taking a picture just like to remember. There were 2 books that I was like, oh, I know this one and this is on my list, and then 2 other books I'm like, let me dig into this because maybe it's gonna be good.
I'm about to throw Berserk as one of my options for the book club, just so I can find a reason to finally read it, because he's been telling me to read it. Everyone's been telling me to read it.
1,000%.
It could be fun. But yeah, that's Savage Dragon. Marco, what's your tag? Who you tagging?
So I have 2 books in
You
mind.
can tag Sean. I will say I will allow Sean to be tagged even though he's not here.
No, I will. I want to tag Kale, and I have 2 books in mind, and I want you to pick which one you'd be more interested in. To be fair, one you have to pay for, the other one is on Comixology Unlimited. So whether or not that informs a decision, that's not on me. But the first one is called Mamo by Sas Millage. It's
Mamo number 5?
Haha, no. Mamo, no B. It is a boombox book, actually. So it's made for a YA audience, but I adored it. It was super cute. I'm going to read the description.
Yeah.
It's called Orla O'Reilly, the youngest in a long line of hedge witches, is compelled to return home after the death of her grandmother, Mamo. In the wake of her Mamo's passing, seas are impossible to fish, crops have soured, even Joe Manilo's attic is taken over by a poltergeist. And to make matters worse, it appears that the cause is Mamo, or her mislaid bones, that is. Can Orla shoulder the responsibility of quieting her Mamo's spirit, saving her hometown, and will she have to step up as the new witch of Hardzen? It's a magic book. It also focuses a bit on the relationship of the 2 characters, and I think it's balanced pretty well. Again, YA focus, so while they don't expressly, the subtext is 2 women, 2 girls, sort of also discovering themselves, but in this larger context of we need to solve this mystery or else our home will be potentially destroyed. The second is I absolutely loved this book, Scarent Hood. It is by Nick Roche and Chris O'Halloran, and the description is, what's scarier, fighting demons or letting your kids down? That's what a group of parents will find out as their plans to solve the school's long-standing mystery lead to one parenting nightmare after the other. Most days the to-do list is the same: drop kids at preschool, grab coffee with other parents, go ghost hunting in the woods, fight demonic entities, collect kids, nap time. And I might have mentioned this.
Yeah, I remember you shouting this out. Yeah.
I really, really like this book. So, Kale, you have your choice. You have Scarent Hood or you have Mamo.
That's tough because Scarent Hood does sound like something I would like. but I just need to hate things so bad.
It's
You're purposely picking the hate book.
It's good content.
they're both about 5 issues, so short reads. But I would only ask the first 2 issues or the first issue just to see if you can get into it.
I'll try Momo.
Those boombox books, they got a niche that they're working with that works really well.
And I'll tell you, shit hit.
There was that vinyl book. What was that? Do you remember that one? They're like
Is it
a
not
bunch,
vinyl?
bunch of girls that worked at a record store.
Yeah.
That was very good, from what I remember.
I think I know the person who made that. Could be
If you
wrong.
do, let them know. Very good book. Good job.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Comic Tech. So I guess we'll talk about that next week. But we have some polls for next week. Polls. I am going to be pulling Black Adam #1 of a 12-issue limited series. Mostly
12
because
issues, almost like there's a
it's-
film coming out.
Yeah. It's Christopher Priest writing it. I have not read anything by Christopher Priest I did not like. Dude made Deathstroke a fantastic book. So maybe he can do the same magic for Black Adam. I believe it's Rafa Sandoval on art too, which, again, no slouch.
Nice.
And I'm also pulling I Hate This Place #2 by Kyle Starks, Artyom Toplin, and Lee Lowridge. This is, I read the first issue. It's essentially the story of a couple of literal U-Haul lesbians who take a U-Haul to this farm that one of the characters got as an inheritance. And as they get there, they realize it is infested with some kind of ghost. They cannot leave the place, and something's coming to get them. And there's like these VHSs that have been left over by the previous tenants of how to properly deal with that, like a rule book almost. And it's them dealing with that as like this. They're an established couple, but also like new enough where like you can feel like the idiosyncrasies of each of them they've not really come to terms with that.
They're learning about each other still.
Yeah, they're learning about it, and yeah, it's fun. It's weird, and the first issue hooked me. Kyle Starks is good, so I'd recommend that.
Nice.
Marco, you picked the Lonesome Hunters #1. Oh, you picked a Tyler Crook book.
Believe it or not, picked a Tyler Crook book. He's my boy.
A book by Tyler
I've
Crook.
been a big fan of Crook's work since Harrow County. It's where I first came across him.
You got that Swamp
And
Thing print
anytime he do
commission?
new stuff, either with Jeff Lemire in the Stone King. He did Cosmogog. Is that what it is, Kale? In the Jeff Lemire extended Black Hammer universe.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't hear you.
Is it the Cosmonaut?
Is that me? Oh, that's me. All right.
I think it's
That's
you.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you, Marco.
We'll
Yeah.
address that later.
What's the hook for this
And,
Crook book?
Yeah, I just really, really enjoy his work.
What's the hook for this Crook book?
I don't know if he can hear you. All right, Marco.
I can hear you guys, so I'm gonna-
Clementine. We're almost done.
Okay, Clementine.
Yep.
All right. So this is a Tilly Walden book. Tilly Walden is a cartoonist coming out of Texas. Has been recently blowing up in the scene as just a premier artist. I think one of the things that she does really well is incorporate her architecture background into a lot of books. So a lot of what you see are these grander sort of designs, which are really visually interesting. And then she intercuts a lot with just these personal dramas. I got her one of the collections that she had put out recently with 3 books, A City Inside, I Love This Part, and The End of Summer. Real good stuff that I think people should really check out. She does a lot of just interpersonal stories that work really well. And I'm on this book more so for her than anything else. I know it's part of the Walking Dead stuff, but for me, if it's Tilly Walden, I'm picking up the book, no questions asked.
I have this pre-ordered. I'm getting this physically. I'm excited for this. The whole Clementine's whole arc in The Walking Dead video game, which is a strange origin for a comic book character to start off in a video game. Fantastic. So I'm excited to see this book for sure.
Her issue in the Image what's the Image 30th anniversary or whatever.
Yeah.
Not that long ago was probably the best one.
It's true.
Excellent
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. So Kale, you're picking up a. Wait.
oh,
Oh, Marco,
sorry,
you can hear us now.
Yeah. Sorry, Tyler.
Okay,
I was gonna just call out one of her other books, Spinning, is a Eisner Award winner, and recently
shit.
came out with On a Sunbeam, which I think was nominated as well. But yeah, again, just real good stuff. Would absolutely recommend it to anybody.
Hey, what's the hook for that Crook book?
Tyler Crook.
That's it. You don't know what it's about.
I don't know what it's about.
Crook is the
but-
hook of the Crook book. Damn, that's hard to
Exactly.
say. Crook's the hook of the book.
Crook's the hook of the Crook book.
Yeah. Kale, talk about some Dark Crisis Young Justice #1, one of 6 limited series coming out.
Yeah, so Young Justice is my favorite teenage superhero team. This is my roots in comic books. These are all characters that I've grown up with and have a deep, deep love for. So you can imagine my devastation when Bendis took over the Young Justice title. I'm pumped to pick this up because someone else is on it. The cool thing about this is it feels like the very, very first Young Justice book, which actually wasn't even a Young Justice book. It happened to be, I think it was called JLA World Without Grown-Ups or something. And Robin, Superboy, and Impulse go to... No, that wouldn't be that. Anyway, they go to this other world where they have to figure out how to... And it's the first time they've ever met. They have to figure out how to work as a team and get off this planet and rescue whoever it is they're rescuing. I don't remember. But it's early Humberto Ramos. It's so good. But I have a deep love for these characters, and this book is about Robin, Superboy, and Impulse being gone. I guess they're lost in worlds where their lives are perfect, and now the only person that is interested in finding them is Wonder Girl, which is incredible because she sought them out to join the team way back in early Young Justice too. So yeah, this feels right. This feels like a high five to high school Kale.
Cool. And you also picked The Silver Coin. This issue being written by James Tynion.
James Tynion, yeah. That's why I'm here for it. This it sounds, the description makes it sound like it is a continuation of the first story. In 1978, a firefighter finds a strange silver coin in the charred ruins of a nightclub.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was the first story. Was the story of the guy in the band.
The guitarist.
Have you been reading
Yeah.
this series, every issue so far?
Not every issue, no.
So I have, and there have been like little bits and pieces where like, oh, wait a minute. And there's like a little connection to stuff. Not so much where it's like, oh god, no, is this Avengers of Silver Coin, but enough where it's like, okay, all right.
But even that little connection, because it's an anthology book done by different writers, like that's interesting.
Yeah, yep. And Michael Walsh on art is fantastic.
Incredible.
Silver Coin, I think out of like ongoings is probably one of my favorite ones going on right now.
Nice.
It's so interesting to see what like the hot minds in comics are doing right now when they turn their eye toward the silver coin.
That's a great way to phrase it.
Especially since there's an eye on the silver coin. I see what you did there. That was good.
Would you believe that wasn't on purpose?
No, that was on purpose. Just take credit.
I
You did that on
can't.
purpose. Yeah. But yeah, that's what we're pulling this week. I don't know what Sean's pulling. Sean's pulling the lever on a nice slot machine is what he's doing.
That's
Let's
right.
hope Sean hits it big, guys.
Oh,
No, he's drowning all of our monthly winnings now.
All the patron money's going there. I don't know.
man.
But yeah, you can. I guess we'll see you on Saturday with Sean. And Sean will be here. I'll be here. Possibly hungover, but I'll be here.
Oh yeah, Tyler.
I got a packed weekend. I'll talk to you after the show, Marco. But I got a packed weekend.
All right, let me know. Okay.
But yeah, so follow us on all the socials. Twitter.com/thecomicspals. YouTube.com/thecomicspals. If you are not following us on Twitch and you're watching us live, just like Yesiah did previously, give us a follow.
man.
Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt you. Unless you have like really brittle bones and it hurts to press buttons. And then I would still say do it. Suck it up and do it. But yeah, it just feels good. If we see those numbers go up, feel good. That's how serotonin works.
Number will feel good.
Number bigger, better.
Better feel.
So if you can make our numbers get bigger everywhere, feel better for us, it will.
Number
Thank
will
you,
feel
and
good.
thank you to those who tuned in. Sultan, always on it. Catherine Stars, always on it. Appreciate you guys.
Yesiah, welcome. We'll hope to see you next week.
But yeah, you can catch us on Saturday at 10:15 every
right.
Saturday for a normal show
Ish.
or normal Comics Pals show.
10:15.
Instead of me drinking beer, I'm drinking coffee instead. So
Eastern.
10:15 Eastern time. Yeah, that's for our audio listeners. But yeah, until then, Kale.
We're the Comics Pals. We'll see you next week.
Here we go. All right. Bye, guys.